fluorescent yellow high-vis goalkeeping kit. Will be due a new kit before too long. Chamadou has it on the right. Manhoff's in a little bit of space in the right-hand channel. Long over the top for Manhoff, who keeps it in right by the byline, puts it through the legs of the defender for Moe, and then can't quite get on the end of his own ball. And Pearson wins it back, but his touch is heavy, and that'll be a Sheffield Wednesday pass on the near side. For an away team that's not necessarily in the best of spirits, if you're under the cosh and the crowd are against you, it can be a long afternoon, I guess.
Well, that's right. They actually started okay, Sheffield, for the first 2 or 3 minutes, and it's suddenly reversed. So the last 5 minutes they've been under that little bit of pressure, not retaining possession, not winning second ball. So long may it continue, and it just obviously just keeps them on the back foot.
9 on the clock, 0-0 on BBC Radio Stoke, live from the Bet365, and that'll be a free kick to Stoke in the middle of midfield, which Chamadou will take with the orange boots. Same pair, well, not the same pair, same design as Ashley Phillips and Bocat. They're all wearing matching boots, 3 of the back 4. It's only Wilmot who's gone for a more conservative colour, the white, which always used to be an oddity, not anymore. Ball spins out to the right, and Chamadou. The Stoke play through the press, and he's got a bit of space to run into, and he gets up to halfway. Plays a ball down the line, looking for Manhoff, a little bit overhit, and that'll run through to the goalkeeper. But it looks like Manhoff's finding little pockets.
Yeah, he's made a couple of decent where he's actually come inside to get the ball and then spun down the line, and Chamadou's found him a couple of times with the ball across over the top of the full-back. It's making the centre-half having to come out and protect him. Bocat's got a bit of an injury here now with the play's being stopped, so that's a little bit of a concern.
Yeah, Bocat has had his injury problems this season, went down in that defensive phase before the ball through to Manhoff. He's got 2 members of the Stoke medical team with him, and we're just seeing a replay of it, and there didn't look like there was an awful lot in it in terms of a kick or anything. He just made contact with a couple of Sheffield Wednesday players and then went to ground, but not because of the contact. He just kind of walked off and then sat down. It's the right leg that's causing him an issue. You always worry, don't you, when it's not necessarily an obvious kick.
Yeah, it looks very innocuous in fairness. Especially when they look as if they're treating his right leg, where if any contact was with his left leg. So it's a little bit. He doesn't look happy. It looks like something on his right knee, so whether he's just tweaked it or just twisted it.
He's going to have to come off, I think. It's Jordan Thompson down there who's getting ready to come on, which would be disappointing because both fullbacks have been doing well as they've bedded themselves into the team.
Well, he's had a couple of decent games, Bocat, and I think that's just been a little bit of the problem, where he's not been able to sustain a big run of games, and that because he's picked up little bits of injuries and what have you, which is very frustrating from a player's point of view, but more so a manager's point of view, because he's just looking to get the team into some form of shape, and he's having to deal with early substitutions.
So Thompson is going to come on. He's played at left back plenty of times before. He's had some final instructions from Ryan Shawcross in the dugout, and Bocat, does look really, really disappointed. He's back on his feet and he's hobbling towards the sideline, but Wednesday lost Michael Ehekwe in the warm-up. Stoke have lost Bocat after 12 minutes. Both teams have had a player booked. It's been fairly frantic, frenetic, and haven't yet had a chance on goal, but that's a blow for Stoke.
Yeah, he's not looking overly happy with himself. He's looking a bit distraught in some respects, but he's able to walk off, so it's hopefully not too serious, just a little bit frustrating from his point of view.
Yeah, he's gone over to shake the hand of the man replacing him. Yeah, he's so disappointed, isn't he? He's getting a pat on the back from the coaching staff and shaking the hands of the manager, Mark Robbins, who he's having a chat with now, I guess, telling him what the problem is. And actually, as he's walked off, he's been moving a little bit better. So, yeah, you hope that is Probably a muscle injury, isn't it? But something that's not going to cause him to be out for too long, because Manhoff fails to take it down in midfield. It gets away from him, and had to say the left back crosses the halfway line, but then just loops a ball up into the hands of Johansson on the edge of his penalty area. Berger, and now Chamadou right hand side. Phillips, corner of the penalty area. Berger dropping deep, back to Phillips, who's going to go long, and again it's high and it's looping, and Gallagher loses it to Iorfa in the air, but Pearson wins the second ball and heads it out to Thompson for a first touch of the game. He plays a simple ball down the line, and almost gets through to Junho, as it was the defender on that far side. Valerie got enough on it to give away a throw-in but stop the attack, and then Stoke give the ball away from the throw-in, and Patterson with the grey hair holds it up, gets a push in the back from Wilmot for his trouble, and finds his own goalkeeper dressed all in sky blue, whose clearance is poor, and Stoke will have a throw-in midway inside the Wednesday half. No real pattern to the game yet, is there, 14 minutes into this one?
No, other than that little 2 or 3 minutes where Stoke had that sustained pressure and put 4 balls in the box. It's been very scrappy, if I'm honest. It's been not a lot of play, too much stoppages in terms of free kicks conceded, and from both teams, and just a little bit sloppy, a little bit scrappy, no real possession.
Stoke then throw in just inside the Wednesday half. Berger goes short, it's through to Junho, who tries to turn it around the corner for Gallagher, can't find him. Hatsase, the left back to the goalkeeper. Gallagher's going to press him. Now Iorfa drills it long away from the Wednesday goal. Jansson's come a long way, gets enough on it to find Berger. Actually a decent pass if he meant it. Now Junho on the left, nice little back heel to the overlapping Thompson, who's going to get a cross in if he wants to. He does, and Manhoff was there. It might fall to Junho. He's gone down easily. He's not going to get a penalty for that in the end. Maybe he was caught in two minds. His touch was heavy. The Wednesday players are furious. I think they want him to be booked.
Yeah, I just can't see why you can't hit that, in fairness. He's coming onto a clearance from Iorfa, and just give it a go first time. He's got a space to maybe you want to have a little go there, and he's just trying to be a bit too clever, and he's looking for it.
Mark Robbins has spoken about indecision a lot. Is that just players overthinking? Because you think normally he's confident, he just puts his foot through that.
Well, there's a little bit of that, but I think sometimes there's that little bit of it over elaborate as well. I think, that sometimes they think the simple thing's too simple. Where in all honesty, in and around the box, the earlier you can get your shot off, usually the better. It's when we start getting too elaborate that it gets too complicated and breaks down.
Yeah, I saw an interview with Jermaine Defoe a few years ago where he just said the key to being a goal scorer is just shoot early before the goalkeeper's set. If you can shoot early and accurately, you've got every chance, as Manhoff goes down and wins a free kick.
Well, certainly in them sort of times where obviously the goalkeeper gets himself set to the corner, off of the cross, and then it's intercepted at the near post, so then he's having to readjust to that one, and then if he actually does get the shot off early, it's usually the fact of when the goalkeeper's like resetting.
Gallagher's in behind, gets a cross away, and it was a decent ball from Manhoff to find him in the right channel, and Baker and Junho just didn't quite gamble on it early enough, with Gallagher in behind and able to put a low cross in and nobody there to finish.
Yeah, he's done really well. He's got in front of the centre half and put the ball across, and as I said, I'd probably say Junho's the one who's the one who was maybe read it a little bit earlier than Baker. Baker's got ground to make up. He was looking for the part of the build-up. But no, good passage of play.
Long throw then from Chamadou again, level with the edge of the box, and he hurls it in from the right. Bounces, loops up into the air, almost drops for a Stoke man in there. Junho has it. It was Phillips again making himself a nuisance inside the box. Junho step overs. Manhoff edge of the box, gets his shot away, drags it. It's taken a deflection, has it? There's a Sheffield Wednesday man down, so I think it's going to be a corner. It looks like it is, but we're going to have to stop play whilst a Wednesday man gets a bit of treatment. Again off the ball. Phillips is limping as well. All kinds of injuries, knocks, kicks pulls. It's Armstrong, the Wednesday man, who's now back on his feet, so the stoppage isn't going to last very long, and it's going to be a corner for Stoke, and Manhoff and Baker are standing over it. The fourth official just blocking them off from taking it at the moment. Baker's the option for the short corner. 2 Stoke players inside the 6-yard box, 3 just beyond the penalty spot. Something off the training ground maybe. Baker short, Junho and Pearson on the edge. Chamadou the only man back on the edge of the centre circle. It is short to Baker. Manhoff for the deeper ball. He's gone short to Junho, and now Pearson shooting chance. He's clipped it in instead, looking for Junho. It's headed away from him. Pearson wins it back. Now Baker on the right. Pearson, 30 yards from goal, fires it right to Manhoff. Manages to keep the ball under a challenge and then wriggle away from his man. Defender sticking to him well, ball in towards the near post. Beats everyone and runs through to the goalkeeper. Phillips was the closest one to it again. He's been an absolute menace in Sheffield Wednesday's penalty area, but maybe a little bit over-elaborate. Cranny, or are you happy with that?
No, the corner set piece worked well till it came to Pearson, and you turn around, you look at him and you think he's going to shoot, but it's on his weaker foot, so he's tried a little clip ball rather than necessarily do the shot that was required.
Big cheer for Gallagher, chasing down the goalkeeper, Pierce Charles, and forcing him to make an error. In the end, the ball actually went out off Gallagher, so it's a throw into Sheffield Wednesday, but it's deep in their own territory. And actually, the Wednesday goalkeeper, Charles, does not look overly confident receiving the ball short and trying to play out from the back. That's one to keep an eye on. And Stoke win it back on halfway, and they're starting to grow into this game. 20 minutes in, 0-0 in front of what is not far short of a capacity crowd at the Bet365, and that's a lovely touch from Thompson. He's around a defender and he finds Junho on the left. Cross comes in. It's fallen to Manhoff at the far post, and he's turned it in. And the pressure counts. Manhoff with the easiest finish he'll ever have. 3 yards out, 4 maybe, and he's just knocked it in after good build-up down the left. But it was the touch from Thompson that opened it all up, and then Stoke kept their cool on the break and get the goal 1-0.
Yeah, he's done really, really well. Received the ball, and the players looked at the Sheffield Wednesday full-back there has looked to close down Junho, and Thompson's took a touch inside him, completely clear. Then he slid Junho in, and then he's followed himself into the box. As the ball's got pulled back from Junho, Thompson's actually got a little bit of a touch, just can't quite get a clean one on. Fortunately, the ball's broke to Manhoff on the 6-yard box, and he's comfortably tucked it away. But now, as you said, that we had a little bit of a head of steam up. We've had the last sort of like 7 or 8 minutes where we've put good pressure on them, and it's paid off. First time though we've had a real definite good movement from like back to front really, and it's paid dividends.
Long ball forward from Wednesday will dribble all the way through to Johansson. It's amazing, isn't it? One good touch can open the whole thing up. It took a defender out, then all of a sudden Junho was free, and they worked it really well.
No, that's right. I'd say that the fullback's committed himself to closing to closing Junho down, and he's not even considered that Thompson would come inside him, and he's taken him out of the game completely.
Gallagher in for the challenge in midfield. It's handball against the man who won the second ball there, Gassama, Jedi Gassama. He's got 8 goals this season. It's he and Windass who provide the goal-scoring options in the main for the Owls, but listen to that noise. Crowd here really getting involved, and Stoke are chasing a second goal and a victory that would basically guarantee them, not necessarily mathematically, but to all intents and purposes, guarantee them Championship football next season. They've given away a free kick. Over on the far side, the right as Wednesday attack from right to left, and again it's another long ball this time. Gassama wants a foul. As he goes down, as the ball loops over his head, he's not going to get one, and Chamadou will take it the other way down the right. Gets to halfway, checks, turns, gives it back to Phillips, and now Johansson. Berger dropping between the centre-backs and finding Chamadou to his right. Nice little 1-2 with Manhoff, and then he tries to clip the ball over the top from Gallagher. Again, it just holds up in the wind, and that allows the defender Famewo to intercept it. And then another long ball has Phillips under it, wins everything in the air, and Stoke work it right to left, find Thompson back to Wilmot, and now Johansson in his own penalty area. 23 minutes gone, Potters lead by a single goal to nil, and they are well on top of this one after a decent start from Sheffield Wednesday in the opening 3 or 4 minutes, then faded away. Berger, Pearson in midfield, and now Baker, edge of the centre circle, just inside their own half. Wilmot has it. Again, Chamadou's in a bit of space to the right. They go short to Phillips, and now Chamadou, and again, first time ball to Manhoff is decent. This is nice football from Stoke. Baker gets involved, finds Manhoff again, and then makes a decent run, and Manhoff can't quite squeeze it through to Baker, and then Chamadou rather hacks down Gassama on the near side, and that'll be a Sheffield Wednesday free kick. Maybe a little bit over enthusiastic, but they're playing with a bit more intensity than we've often seen this season.
Yeah, a lot of one-touch football. I mean, if you look at it, the way that they've set up, they've got like the two strikers, so they're basically playing an old-style 4-4-2 basically. So that gives us an extra man in midfield, the central midfield areas, and alongside that, then you've got Manhoff, who's now every now and again floating inside off the line. We've used that to our advantage there, and so Chamadou's made a couple of good touches to Manhoff, and Baker's got involved with it. Been some good movement. It's just at times you just don't need to be as elaborate as in the final little bit, because everything's been simple and it's worked really well.
Wednesday on the attack, down the right. Ball back in field. Sells Charles down a cul-de-sac, and now Stoke could be away on the break. Gallagher's on it, heavy touch, but he's still going into the penalty area, and he shoots. That would have been a sensational goal. It's over the bar. Really good counter-attack, though. He's direct, kept going, and in the end maybe the defender sliding in might have put him off right at the end.
I think he's probably a little bit disappointed with the finish, if I'm honest. He's probably thinking he should be at least hitting the target there, making the goalkeeper work, because he's done all the hard stuff. I just find it interesting in some of the response of the Wednesday players here. That they're going down looking for fouls, not getting them, and they're questioning it. You need to look now whether or not they're really fancying this at times. I think certain players on their team aren't really in the ball game. I think they're just here to fulfil the fixture at times. Just got to be careful that we don't give them any chance or any hope that they might think and get something out of it, because I think if we do that and we do the things the right way, it could be a long afternoon for them.
It's an offside flag up against Gassama, who was trying to break away down the left. 26 minutes gone. You don't want to call it too early, but I mean, normally you'd say this looks like a team on the beach, given the problems off the pitch that reports suggest are resulting in delays to payment and things like that. It might be a team that's all trying to look for a new club.
Well, I think they're putting off that sort of persona in certain individuals of them. They're just questioning bits.
Gallagher's trying to win the ball back from Famewo, and then he's penalised. A hand on the back was enough for the defender to go down and buy the foul. I think it's fair to say.
I think he's been a little bit unfortunate there, Gallagher. I think the guy's just stumbled a little bit off his own balance more than anything else. He was looking for the keeper to come and help him out, and the keeper's gone back onto his line for him to deal with it. He's been a little bit fortunate there, but that's they've got that little bit of indecisiveness on the pitch now in all positions for their team. So we need to capitalise this. Another goal, I think, will finish these off, but we need to make sure that we stay right for it.
Yeah, Stoke score again. It might just get interesting in terms of a final scoreline, because Wednesday do not look like they're in the mood to show a whole lot of resilience here. as Chamadou has the ball in his hand. Stoke throw inside his own half, takes it down the line. And that's a clear handball from Berger, who almost caught it and then dropped it like an ice hockey player, catching it and dropping it, ready to take it on with the stick. Amazed he hasn't got into the book just for the blatantness of that.
I just like his face at the end of it, looking shocked to say, what have I been penalised for there?
Yeah, a great look of contrived innocence.
I think the third bounce would have given it away to them.
Make a decent basketball player, Wouterberger. He's got the height. Just throwing for Sheffield Wednesday on the near side. Hatsase into the centre circle, and now another long ball forward that's aimless and will bounce out for a throw-in. It's almost into rugby union kick the touch territory, that, because there wasn't a Wednesday player nearby. And Stoke will have a throw-in deep inside their own half on the left. As we approach the half-an-hour mark, they lead by a goal to nil. They are on their way to securing championship safety and making the last 3 games feel very relaxed indeed. They give it away from the throw-in, but then Wednesday overplay on the right, so it's another throw-in for Stoke, about 10 yards further forward than the last. It's awkward because they are pinned right back into the corner of the pitch, so Thompson tries to put a bit of distance on it, doesn't really get a hold of the throw. And again, it's a bit scrappy in midfield. Berger emerges with the ball and holds off a couple of challenges. Junho's trying to help him out. It's very scrappy over on the far side. Fans over there liked it. They liked the combativeness of the players in front of them, and it all ends with a throw-in to Stoke, who do just look a step ahead at the moment of the visitors.
Yeah, and they're having that little bit, not good fortune, but that little bit of luck at times as well, where they're getting a couple of ricochets. They've managed to get or they regain possession from throw-ins, etc., off the way there's shins and whatever. So just got to be careful that we don't fall at that complacency ourselves up.
That's to say on the left. It's a decent ball, and Johansson has to be off his line sharply to slide down and take that into his arms, with Gassama trying to get on the end of it. Nice ball through the lines, looking for Gallagher. If he can squeeze it to Junho on the left, he'll have a bit of space. He can. Junho cuts infield. He's got a bit of support. He spreads the play to the right, and here's Manhoff, corner of the box, into the penalty area. Manhoff still going, thinks about the shot. In the end, plays it into Baker, who tries to give it him back, and in the end it's just a little bit too congested inside the penalty area, and the move breaks down. But again, nice, quick, one-touch, two-touch football that gets Stoke away on the break. They then give away a free kick. Mark Robbins isn't best pleased. Has a little pop at the referee, but Wednesday have a free kick right in front of him on the near touchline.
Another good passage of play there until he got to Manhoff, and I think he's just there. The ball's come from the central areas, and he's just gone back into there, and he's just gone back into bodies basically. I think that's the time where if he's more willing to use his right foot, he's got the space on the outside of the fullback to give him a go. But he's that little bit of reluctance to do that, and it's just gone back into extra bodies. And the ball into Baker, I think, was actually a shot, if I'm honest. So.
And then ironic cheers for a really poor pass from Mayo, looking for Hatsase, that goes straight into touch. Stoke throwing level with the halfway line under thick grey cloud covering Stoke-on-Trent today, and the flags opposite us are blowing at a fair rate in what is a relatively strong wind, and it's forecast to get even gustier as the afternoon wears on, and Stoke return the ball to the goalkeeper Johansson, and he plays it short to Wilmot, and now a sense of calm descends on the Bet365 stadium. Berger's dropped in between the centre-backs and plays a ball out to the left, and there's a ball on here to Gallagher, who could be in behind, and the flag goes up just half a yard offside. It looked it, to be fair, but it was a decent run. Yeah,
he's just gone that a little bit too early, but no, good thought, decent ball to him as well. Like it's good to see when they're on the same wavelength. He's made the run and the ball's gone in there, so it's that's good.
Ball down the line is a poor one again. Another Wednesday player carelessly giving the ball away. Stoke take the throw in quickly, and here they come again. And the ball in behind looking for Junho, almost finds him. Iorfa intercepts, and then Berger rugby tackles him to the ground. A little bit clumsy from Wouter Berger, and Wednesday take the free kick quickly. Had to say on the left, on the halfway line. Brings it infield and gets it back, and then plays it to Famewo, who fires one across the edge of the penalty area for Iorfa, who has to scamper out to the right and just about keep it in. And he lifts the ball up to the halfway line. The flicked header isn't the best, and that will be collected by Wilmot. And he uses Chamadou to his right. He plays another decent ball over the top for Manhoff. He'll keep that in. Defender got something on it, forces him wide. But Manhoff will run at Hatsuse. Another defender comes across to help. So Stoke work it short to Pearson, and now Berger, 35 yards out, plays the ball into Baker. I don't think he was expecting it. I think he thought Berger was going to shoot. In the end, Baker and Berger win it back between them. And Wilmot struggles to control the bouncing ball, but keeps possession with a pass to Johansson. And now Phillips inside his own half. Slows it down, walks forward with the ball, and then again uses Johansson as Armstrong, formerly of Southampton of course, comes forward to press him. Phillips, Chamadou, there's Pearson and Chamadou again, and now Manhoff. Decent football, he's gone through the legs of Hatsuse. That's one for the cameras. And then he's bounced towards the touchline by Armstrong, just about keeps it in, plays it off the defender and wins the throw in, but I think he almost looked rather too admiringly at his own nutmeg there instead of just getting away down the line. I don't know whether he surprised himself.
But again, it's another good combination, one-touch football with Chamadou and Manhoff and Pearson's involved in there. They're doing what they are doing really well is they're getting in and they're doing little mini overloads, so they're always finding that extra man in and around the pitch to get that clear, and by moving the ball so quickly as with one-touch football, Wednesday are struggling to find the problems. You say Wednesday playing that 4-4-2, but they're playing the two wide men in narrow to try and compensate for it, and that's giving a bit of space on the outside, so when they do adjust, it's all that little bit too late.
Going to have a long throw from Chamadou. The first was headed away from the near post and back out to him. And that's it, bounce out and dries the ball on his shirt again. Has another go at drying it just to make sure all of that moisture's gone. He can get a good grip on it and takes 5 steps before launching it towards the penalty spot. Didn't quite get the distance he wants on it, and that's adjudged to have gone out off Wilmot rather than the defender who was on his back, and that'll be a goal kick. We've played 36 minutes, Stoke lead by 1-0. Chasing the second goal, but defensively they've been relatively comfortable as well. Wednesday haven't offered an awful lot of threat.
No, that's right. I think, as I say, it's after the first 2 or 3 minutes, I think it's pretty much one way, and Wednesday is just trying to hang on in there for the time being. I think it'd be nice to see an extra goal on the board before we go into the half time, but we've looked relatively comfortable, and in fairness, we're the only team that really looked like scoring the second.
Pearson wins a free kick in the middle third of the pitch, and everyone will trot forward again as Wilmot will take it. And again, plays a long diagonal looking for Manhoff and finds him. Nice touch from the Dutchman. Again, attacks the edge of the box, gets in field, deflected shot, it's off the crossbar, won't bounce down for Gallagher, who would have had a tap in had it. Deflected onto the woodwork. Stoke close to a second, but they're knocking at the door.
As I mentioned before earlier, they're having a lot of joy. As Manhoff's getting behind the left back, we're getting joy with Junho and Thompson against their right back. So in them areas there, but we're playing the ball really well in them in the wide areas, and good combination play. We just need that final little ball in. Very unlucky there, Manhoff, for the extra deflection. I just took it onto the bar.
Sort of looped up onto the crossbar. Carlisle has scored against Port Vale. who, with a win, would be within touching distance of promotion back to League One. They're behind at Brunton Park in Cumbria, as Baker tries to win the ball back for Stoke. The clearance from the edge of the penalty area from Wednesday's poor, and Stoke win it back, albeit deeper, and then Iorfa goes through the back of Gallagher to win the ball. No free kick, and Wednesday might be away on the break here. Windass plays that to the right. Stoke back in numbers. Windass gets the ball back, and a deflected cross. It's cleared, but pretty unconvincingly from Wilmot. Out to Valerie, and now back to the right, level with the edge of the box. The fullback gets it back, Valerie, and now here's Armstrong, who drives towards the byline, but there isn't a way through, and Stoke clear. The only man back on the halfway line is Akin Bumewa, and now Iorfa, his central defensive colleague.
It's interesting the fact that the clearance from a yard from our goal line was by Gallagher. So he'd gone all the way back there to help out the defence.
Iorfa. Stoke have dropped a little bit deeper, and Wednesday work it from right to left. Hatsase runs at Manhoff and gets across in. It's high, it's deep, and in the end it's overhit. It'll be kept in on the far side by Valerie. Junho gets something on it, but Wednesday keep possession. Another cross comes in. Chamadou thinks about clearing it, and Manhoff makes a little bit of a meal of it. He's still got the ball. He runs out to the right touchline as Stoke attack, and then a bit of a silly tackle from Hatsase gives the Potters a free kick. They've just got to ward against complacency, haven't they, and being a little bit too casual.
Yes, that's exactly what we were saying earlier. It's because it's been majority of the players being in the Wednesday half. You've just got to be mindful of them little breaks where things break down. We just got to keep the ball moving simple and quickly. The game a little bit too elaborate at times. We've tried the little tight balls and everything, but now there's a lot of positives.
Johansson with the free kick. Smashes a spinning ball downfield, and Gallagher rises. Can't quite get anything on the ball as it loops over his head, but Stoke win the second, and Manhoff finds Gallagher, and the flag's gone up as he puts the cross into the box. A little bit unlucky. Gallagher just straying offside.
To be honest, that was close. To be fair, it looked as if he timed it well. But it's good. It's good the fact that Stoke are actually looking behind. I think that the early part of this season, everything was up front, and there was a reluctance to go behind, and now all of a sudden we've got that option, and it's causing problems.
Goalkeeper Charles is going to come forward to take the free kick. I can't remember a game in which Stoke have moved the ball as quickly as they have today.
Yeah, and I say in times it's been a funny game because it's been quite scrappy at times, but when there's a bit of fluency in it, and we have moved the ball well.
Defending for Chamadou to do. Phillips helps him out and clears the ball down the right touchline. In fact, he plays it over the right touchline, out for a throw for Sheffield Wednesday on the near side, and Chamadou stayed down. I think he's going to be okay. Port Vale trailing at Carlisle, still 0-0 in the Crew game, 1-0 here. All games live on BBC Radio Stoke as always. Sheffield Wednesday throw-in is going to be a long one. Elsewhere, Portsmouth lead at Norwich. Plymouth are level 1-1 at Middlesbrough. Teams at the bottom scheduled to pick up points. Luton beat Derby earlier to drag Derby right back into the relegation mire. Fans want foul throw. It's not given. The ball's looped up towards the edge of the box, headed on, and there's an offside flag up against a Wednesday player on the edge of the 6-yard box who'd made the run. Baker wants the free kick to be taken quickly, but Stoke are going to slow it down as there's another Wednesday man down on the edge of the box. A little bit chaotic in that passage of play.
Yeah, I think Iorfa's got a bit of a clash there.
Iorfa, who replaced Ehekwe, who was initially named in the starting lineup and then dropped out. Yeah, Swansea 0, Hull 0 is the other important game at the bottom of the league. So look, you can always take live tables with a pinch of salt, can't you? Because so much can change. We've only played 42 minutes here, but Stoke would move on to 50 points. They would be 7 clear of Luton, who would only have 9 to play for in the bottom 3. Portsmouth would be pulling clear. Oxford would be 5 clear. Hull would be 3 clear. Derby would be right in trouble if it all ends like this. Throw in for Sheffield Wednesday on the near side from the long kick forward from Johansson as the game gets back underway. And a lone Seagull swoops and dives right across the face of the scoreboard to our left in the corner, in front of the Stanley Matthews statue, and the ambulance is parked behind it, and the ball loops up into the air from Phillips, and it'll drop for Manhoff. Defenders to run at, tries. Had to say gets a touch on it, and Stoke with it back through Pearson, but the fullback from Japan collects it and then tries to drill it down the line, but the home fans are appreciative because Gallagher gets across to close him down and block that off. So it's going to be another Wednesday throw, but with just over a minute of normal time in the first half remaining. Stoke leading, they've hit the crossbar as well, 1-0 up, created a boatload of chances, but Wednesday have created nothing. Carlisle have created something else against Port Vale. In fact, they've scored a second. So the game that was designed to put Vale within touching distance of promotion not going the way that Darren Moore and his players would want. Chamadou then with a throw-in. This 45 yards away from the byline. Pearson tries a little flick, and then Baker gives away a free kick with a foul on Gassama. When your holding midfielder starts trying little flicks, you know you're enjoying yourself as a team.
Yeah, the interesting thing is I've had good reports from Sheffield supporters about this Gassama, and I've not seen a great deal in this half to even think about being a player. Yeah,
he's spent more time on the ground, hasn't he? He's one of
and moaning with the referee. I think it's the question. Most decisions are going either against him or the team. But in terms of everything on the ball or anything around him, there's nothing at all.
3 minutes of added time. 8 goals this season, so stats are there, but yeah, not a lot today. As that's a little bit casual in midfield from Baker, and Stoke give it away. John Ho tries to win it back. Wednesday keep it on the right. There might be the chance for a cross here as Valerie gets to the byline. Plays it in, it's not a bad hanging ball, but Phillips is under it again to clear, and Manhoff will chase the ball up to the halfway line, and that was almost a poor touch from Maywo, but Rio Hatsase has it on the left again, and here is Gassama. Checks back onto his right foot. Throws in a dummy. Pearson doesn't bite, and in the end he has to go short and backwards to Maywo. Iorfa. Everybody back within 40 yards of the Stoke goal as Wednesday try and find an equaliser before half-time. We've played a minute of the 3 added on, and they're still just keeping possession just inside the Stoke half. Maywo. Gassama again with Chamadou for company. Runs at him. Beats Manhoff, who comes across to help. He's still going, Gassama. Shoots from a long way out, and that curls away from goal. And that just indicates that Wednesday might have been running out of ideas there, just couldn't find a way through.
Yeah, it's the first time they've sort of had a little bit of sustained pressure in and around the Stoke box. A couple of crosses gone in, dealt with reasonably well, and they say 35 yards or so from goal, and they just seem to just lack anything to get to break us down. But concentration is important when we haven't got the ball, because we've had so much of the play in this first half. I think it's that second goal would be nice, but it doesn't look as we're going to get this period.
Had that gone in from 30 yards just after we'd both said Gassama had been rubbish, it would have been our fault. You do know that.
Well, I had a little bit of a panic after, to be honest.
John Ho can't quite retain possession on the far side, but he's done enough to win a throw-in. Thompson will go across to take it. He's not